This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 177, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode I speak to Boom Boom Cannon about living abroad, and I must say I particularly enjoyed this episode. I never mentioned this on the podcast, but I am the biggest critic of Rock and Roll English. When I edit the episode, I always think, would I enjoy listening to this? And I must say that in this episode, I actually laughed quite a few times when listening to this. So I hope you enjoy it too. And we also talk about a few serious things. Well, semi-serious, I suppose. But remember, all of the rock and roll vocabulary is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com, episode 177. And if you want to hear more conversations from me and Boom Boom this week, go to rockandrollenglish.com/family. Here is the conversation. I will speak to you all again at the end. Happy listening. Boom Boom Cannon, how are you today?
I'm good, Martin. How are you?
I was going to respond, always fantastic, but as you know, I've just had another power cut, so I'm currently talking to you in the dark. So I could actually be better today. I could be better.
Yeah. What's caused this power cut, do you know?
Lack of power, I
Lack
suppose.
of power, yeah. Good. I've always wondered what causes power cuts, but now I know.
Now you know. No, I actually don't know. It happened once this morning and it's happened again. So that is absolutely brilliant. But moving on quickly, we can't talk about the power cut forever, as exciting as it is. How do we usually start the show, Boom Boom?
With a review.
Do you think we have a review?
Well, I know that you've been practicing the names of the people that left the reviews, so I'm going to say yes.
That is correct. I told Boom Boom just before. I found a website now where I can actually check the pronunciation of names from around the world. So maybe I won't look like an idiot forever. So yes, we do have a review, and it's from SAL Kila. I'm not sure if that's correct. I did my best, but it's from SAL Kila Mela. The surname I couldn't find, so I'm just doing that with my English pronunciation, Mela. So yes, yeah, okay. I'm not very good at this, but anyway.
Yeah, you've done it once. You've tried your best.
Exactly, yeah. I hope people appreciate at least that I tried. You know, I've done my best. Now let's move on to the review, which is very simple, short and sweet, which is a nice term, short and sweet. It's quite easy to understand. And it says, it is an excellent way to improve your English. Okay, so thank you very much for that, SAL Kila. And that's just how easy it is to leave a review. Just bang, just that little thing. As long as it's 5 stars, it doesn't matter what you write.
Just make it 5 stars, please.
Yeah, that's the important part, okay? But yes, thank you again for that review. So, Boom Boom, do you know what we're talking about today?
I don't. No, here we go. I've been kept in the dark.
Very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Thanks.
Yeah, it works on so many levels. I hope people understood that. If you didn't, I'll explain it. There's nothing better than explaining jokes. I'm in the dark, now Boom Boom. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, we get it. So we're talking about something which we kind of spoke about in our pre-chat, Boom Boom, about living abroad, okay? And, you know, the good bits and the bad bits of living abroad, because you live in Sweden, I live in Italy, so, you know, I think we know a thing or two about this, which is some nice vocabulary to say. Basically, I think we can give a good insight, so some good information.
Yeah, we can indeed. You've been abroad now for quite a long time, haven't you?
Quite 9.5 years with a 1 year break. Break. It was like half time, and I just went home for 1 year.
So that means it's almost also 9.5 years since we lived together.
Yep. Okay. Which again we spoke about in the pre-chat, and I always refer to it as the worst period of my life. Boom Boom.
But not because you were living with me.
Well, I don't think that helped.
Only partly.
Yeah, I just want to share with people because I just sort of realised how bad that period was, because at that point in my life, I didn't have a job. I hadn't spoken to a girl in about 3 years, and I couldn't actually walk because I had broken my ankle. So there wasn't a lot going for me in my life. So when there's nothing going for you, there's nothing really positive.
No, but you were watching The Wire, so you did have that. Yeah.
I did have that, and fantasy football to keep my life going. But luckily it's better now, because especially connected to number one here, when you live abroad, you experience personal growth. So what about you, Boom Boom? Do you think you've grown as a person?
Yeah, I think I have, actually. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same. But then I also think I was such a dickhead before that...
The only way was up.
Exactly. I was at the bottom. Yeah. So as you say, the only way was up. And luckily, the quality of life and my personal character, I suppose, has increased a tiny bit. So, it's not all bad. Yeah.
No, I would definitely agree that it helps with personal growth. You meet lots of different people from different places. I also think when you're living abroad, when you're a foreigner somewhere, maybe you mix with people from other places, not just from the place in which you're living, which I didn't really do too much in London.
That actually brings me on nicely to the next point, which is that you make friends from all around the world. Because when we were living together, obviously, I had my friends from home, like you and everyone, and then friends from university. I think my friend that lived furthest away lived in Kent, which was about a 30-minute train ride from London.
Yeah, so if you wanted to experience something different, just hop on that train to Kent.
Exactly. Lovely rock and roll vocabulary as well. Hop on the train. A nice expression just to say, get on that train, go to Kent. It was a totally different world there in Kent.
Life is just... You just could see things differently in Kent, wouldn't you?
I was like, I'm experiencing so much here in Kent. It's just... Life is just so different. Which is strange, though, considering that obviously London, very international city, but we didn't know anyone, literally anyone from another country.
No, I mean, I think, I'd meet some people from different places at work, of course, but then I would just think, if we were going out on the town, just do it with my mates from home, really.
Yeah, I've already got friends. I think I actually had that attitude when I was younger of like, I think I've got enough friends. I don't need any more. That's enough.
Yeah.
Stop talking to me. Someone will be talking like, stop now. I've already got friends. You're wasting your time. Okay. You can forget it. But yeah, so another point though, is that when you're abroad, people treat you differently. How's your experience on that, Boom Boom? Do people treat you differently?
You think like, as in treat you differently as a foreigner, like as someone from a different place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not always a good thing though, is it?
No, exactly. This is not necessarily positive. Sometimes I'm aware of that in a way that, isn't necessarily positive.
Yeah, well, the positive side is in England, I'm just a normal dickhead. Whilst in Italy, I'm a different type. I'm an exotic dickhead, at least.
Yeah.
So that's the good bit. The bad bit for me is that many situations I've been in, when we're in, I don't know, it may be even a pub, and then someone says, oh, he's English, and points at me, and everyone looks... I do kind of feel like an alien of everyone sort of touching me, like, oh, wow, he's English. And then during the night, anything that comes up in conversation related to England, everyone will look at me. Someone will say something like, yeah, I read something on the BBC, and then there's a second pause and everyone just looks at me. BBC, yep, English, yeah. Or I like drinking tea, English, yep, that's me, yeah, good, tea's good.
I've experienced this. I had this recently where a conversation in Swedish was taking place, and then I wasn't really following it too closely, and then I just heard the words Harry Potter, and then someone turned and in English said, "Your guy, Harry Potter." I don't really know anything about Harry Potter, so even though they were then opening the conversation up to me in English, I still just had to say, I can't really contribute to this. Sorry.
That's the same with me when people talk about tea and I say I don't really drink tea. Oh, God, I just feel so bad. I might just start telling people I do, just to try and look good. But yeah, it's so embarrassing. Like, Harry Potter, yep, good. English, yeah, that's good.
You're trying to include me, but I don't know anything about that. Whereas tea, I will talk about all day.
Yeah, I can't talk about tea or Harry Potter or anything really. So that's
just don't talk to me. Yeah, I can't talk about anything.
Exactly, that is the best solution. Just do not talk to me. So another one here, kind of related to what we just said, actually, is that you need to get comfortable with looking like an idiot because you're the foreign person that often doesn't understand. I would say for the first 2 years in Italy, I spent all of my time just at tables in silence. Or the other situation when someone says something and you don't understand and you don't want to say you don't understand, so you just have to sort of laugh and think, please, I'm hoping that was a joke. Please tell me that was a joke.
Oh yeah, I know this one well. I mean, I'm still just I'm very much in this sort of zone at the moment. Just over 2 years for me, but my language hasn't come on a great deal. So looking like an idiot is a pretty regular occurrence in my daily life. Yeah.
Some nice rock and roll vocabulary when he said my language hasn't come on, so it hasn't improved that much. I feel your pain, boom boom, and even now it still sometimes happens to me. And someone says something, everyone laughs, and you just think, I'll just laugh as well. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll just laugh. Oh, God, that was so funny. You always got to hope, though, because it has happened to me a few times when I've laughed and someone said, oh, so how do you say that in English? And I think, oh, fuck. I just sort of say something that they don't understand. Yeah. Oh, how do you say that in English? We just say, hum-a-wum.
Yeah. And just hope everyone moves on.
Yeah, let's just keep going with the conversation, which is exactly what we're going to do, Boom Boom, and move on to the next part. It says here that your fashion sense changes. Has that happened to you, living abroad?
I mean, I was always a pretty cool guy, obviously.
I mean, you can say that, Boo Boo. That's not what other people... You may have thought that, but that's not what the general conception was. So the general conception, what people thought.
Yeah, I'd say I've been influenced a bit by the Scandinavians are quite fashionable people. So yeah, I think I've been influenced by that, and I like to think I've influenced them as well. So it's a two-way street.
Of course, yeah. Lovely vocabulary, two-way street. It happens for both of us. Although, thinking about it, you've influenced me as well in this fashion sense quite recently, haven't you, Boom Boom? Because
so I have, yeah.
I recently bought a jacket that you have. Boom Boom lent me his jacket very kindly at Corporal Comer's stag do a few months ago. And then I thought, oh, this jacket looks bloody good. I think I'm going to go and buy one of these now. So, yeah, you've influenced me. Although I must admit, I think the jacket does look better on me. I was kind of hoping you were going to give me your jacket, but that didn't happen. So I had to buy one.
It's a very expensive jacket. But it's very expensive for my wallet.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And, I mean, so when you say... you were thinking how good you sort of looked in a jacket. You were doing more than thinking it, because on the night that you borrowed it from me, I'd say we were in a couple of pubs, a couple of bars. Every half an hour or so, you would just come up to me and just say, Canon, this jacket, I love it. Can I have it? And I would just have to constantly repeat, no, Martin, you can't have my jacket.
I had to try, okay? I did my best. Okay, is he going to give me the jacket? No. Okay, I will have to go and buy it. But it had such an impact on me, Boom Boom. I've never had it in my life where an item of clothing has had such an impact. But what a jacket. What a jacket. It is a good one.
It's a real all-rounder, that jacket, isn't it?
Yeah, a real all-rounder. Maybe we're going to have to put a picture of this jacket just so people can actually see it. Just so
maybe one of us each of us in the jacket and see who wears it best.
Oh God, I don't want to get into this competition with you, Boom Boom. But we could try. Speaking of fashion sense, though, a very strange thing happened to me the other day where I wore a new item of clothing for the very first time in my life. Notice that I say item of clothing, so like one piece of clothing. I was at Mrs. Rock and Roll English's family house. We went there for the weekend, long weekend last week, and I was sure I had brought some pants with me, but I looked in my bag, couldn't find them, and then I thought, well, don't worry, because there are some here anyway from the last time I was here. Couldn't find them, so I had 3 choices. Number 1 was go commando, which means you go out wearing no underwear. So number 1, go commando. Number 2, ask her dad for some pants. Or number 3, wear Mrs. Rock and Roll English's pants. Which option do you think I went for, Boom Boom?
I think you went for number 3.
Correct. I went for number 3, and I just put on Mrs. Rock and Roll English's pants. I mean, it was a great experience putting them on. It was quite thrilling. It was quite exciting.
What kind of are you able to say what kind of pants we're talking about?
Well, I certainly didn't go for any sexy underwear. I just went for the ones that look the most comfortable, just black cotton, just so it's nice and soft.
I might have thought, you might have thought, in for a penny, in for a pound, go for a skimpy thong.
I didn't think that, but some lovely rock and roll vocabulary. So in for a penny, in for a pound. So like if you do it a little bit, just go all out and just do it.
If you're gonna do it, go all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I didn't do that. But the funny thing was, she didn't know because I was getting changed in her room, and then later on in the day, we went out for a drink, and I just said, "Do you know I'm wearing your underwear?" I thought she would find it sexy, but she was just like, well, what the fuck are you doing?
Sexy. It is a sexy image, I have to say. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe I'll put a picture of me as well on with Mrs. Rock and Roll English's underwear.
Please do.
Just... Yeah, the idea of these pictures is not really so good at the moment. So one, a picture of competition with you of who looks best in a jacket, and the other one wearing Mrs. Rock and Roll English's underwear. So we'll see. We will see. Boom boom. So another one here I've got. Your English suffers. Has this happened to you, Boom Boom, that you can speak your own language worse?
I've heard of this happening by people with people living abroad. To be honest, I don't think I speak enough Swedish for this to actually happen to me, because Swedes are so good at English. I still speak a lot of English. Yeah. So I don't think it has. I am conscious of sometimes when I'm speaking to some people over here, sort of how I speak English. So that may be it, but that's probably for the best. Just speaking hopefully a bit more clearly. So it has an effect,
because I often find myself saying terms that people say in Italy that make no sense in English. So, for example, if you want to reinforce a point, if someone's saying, "Oh, it's cold in Italy," people will say "infatti," so which translates, I suppose, as "in fact." So when people are talking, I often just find myself just saying, "Yeah, in fact," but doesn't really make any sense to do that in English. So
you kind of I think you do. English people over here, they refer to it as sort of speaking Swinglish, a kind of just a bit of a mixture of the two languages.
It's happened to me. Also, just I notice I just can't, some words, even talking to you now, some words just don't come to me as natural, because if you're in England, you're watching English TV, you're talking to people. You've got it all around you these days,
I think maybe there's only so much room in your brain for a language. So the more Italian you learn, the more English just disappears.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's definitely what's happening to me. So another one, an interesting one, is you feel like a foreigner in your home country. So does this happen to you when you go back home to England? You feel like a foreigner now?
You definitely feel, I think, kind of a bit detached, and then you feel a bit, well, in both places. Do I really fit in either place? Particularly because like when I go back, my parents don't live in England anymore, so I don't stay with them. So you do feel a bit kind of, even when I go back, I'm not staying kind of at home, as it were.
Wait, fuck off, you foreigner. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we voted for Brexit, for people like you, Boom Boom. Fuck off. Get out of here.
Just go home, get abused, come here, feel like an idiot. Yeah.
I just backtracking a bit though, so going back a bit, Boom Boom did use some rock and roll vocabulary when he said that I sometimes don't feel like I fit in. So if you don't fit in, you don't feel like you belong, I suppose. But yeah, it's the same for me. I don't feel like I fit in here, the same at home. I just don't see what the point of me is anymore. It's just just no point to my life anymore. Boom Boom.
Yeah, well, this has got dark and deep, isn't it? But but we love living abroad.
Yeah, at the end we can say it's really good. It's really good. Although let's finish on a more positive note, which again we spoke about in our pre-chat. Funnily enough, is you spend a lot of time on Skype. Does this happen to you? Keeping in touch, obviously, with friends and family.
It does. It definitely happens. Yeah, it happens more than when I was living at home, for sure. Yeah, particularly with my, with my parents. Happens a lot. So, and my parents and you, mainly. But yeah, no, it definitely happens more.
Yeah, it's the same as me. I can't say when I was living in England, I used to Skype my friend in Kent so much.
Yeah, even though it is a completely different way of life there. People in Kent don't Skype, so.
Although these days there are so many, as I mentioned before, so many possibilities now. Sometimes if you say let's talk to someone, you think, what are we doing? Are we doing Skype, FaceTime, WhatsApp, Facebook? It's just a nightmare. Bloody in the past, you only had Skype. Yeah,
and yet now the one that's, I think, the strangest in a way is if someone just actually phones your mobile, like a normal phone call.
Yeah,
sort of thinking, whoa, come on. You haven't even messaged me to warn me about this phone call first.
Oh yeah, you need, if you're living abroad, you have to set up a time. You can't just call someone out the blue. So out the blue, like when it's not expected. If you're in the same country, you can do that though. But when you're abroad, different rules totally.
I like a week's notice.
And like 4 days, like it's too soon. Too soon. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this commitment. Just to give people a quick story as well of what happened when I just had this power cut, because I'm now doing this on my phone. Boom Boom called me back on my phone, and I just immediately put it to my ear because it was my phone. I just thought, okay, right, I'm gonna put this to my ear. So Boom Boom was having a nice look at just my ear, which must have been fantastic.
It was really nice. It was hard to make out exactly what I was looking at. It was just a kind of mixture of, I think there was some hair,
always hair involved,
skin.
Always hair.
It was kind of dark, quite hard to decipher. But it was good when you cleared up that it was your ear. It was good to know.
All made sense. So some nice rock and roll vocabulary to finish on there. So it was difficult to decipher, so to basically understand what was going on. But then we cleared it up, and then we said exactly what was happening, and it was just an ear. Anyway, thanks a lot for your time, Boom Boom, about talking about things living abroad. I hope we've given a real insight to people around the world.
Yeah, we like it. We encourage it.
We love it. We love it. Yeah. And I'm sure we will see you very soon, Boom Boom.
Thanks, mate. Yep, see you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Boom Boom and me speaking about living abroad. I hope you enjoyed it. So let's have a look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary. We had the review, and I said the review was short but sweet. So if something is short but sweet, it means exactly what it says. It's short and also sweet. A nice term to say something's good if it's short. I then said that Boom Boom and I know a thing or two about living abroad. So there's a nice way to say basically we know what we're talking about. And I said, I think we can give a good insight. So a good insight to look inside of what it's like, to give good information, let's say. I also mentioned I didn't have a lot going for me when I lived with Boom Boom. So if you don't have anything going for you, you don't have anything good in your life, let's say. Boom Boom then said that I could just hop on the train to Kent. So if you hop on the train, it's a nice way just to say get on the train. And Boom Boom also said his language hasn't come on a great deal. So if something comes on, it improves. So he said it hasn't improved so much. And then we had the word and conception when I said that's not what the general conception was about you, Boom Boom, when he said that he has always been a well-dressed person. So I was saying that's not really what everyone thought. That wasn't the general opinion, let's say. And he said that Scandinavian people have helped him and he has helped them. So it's a two-way street, you can go up and down, baby. And then I mentioned an item of clothing that I wore for the first time in my life. So notice that item of clothing, because clothes is obviously the plural. So if you want the singular, you need to say an item of clothing. And then I was talking about going commando. So if you go commando, you go out without any underwear, which can be done in the summer. A bit more difficult when it's cold. And I said it was quite thrilling wearing Mrs. Rock and Roll English's underwear. So thrilling, exciting. And then Boom Boom said he thought I might have worn the sexy underwear because he said, in for a penny, in for a pound. So think about that for a minute. If you're going to bet, for example, if you bet a penny, you're already in. So let's just go for it. Let's go crazy and bet a pound. So that's sort of what it refers to. And he was talking about the underwear. So, if you're going to wear underwear, go crazy and wear the really sexy ones. And then I had the term backtracking when I said I wanted to go back and talk about Boom Boom's vocabulary, which was when he said he sometimes feels like he doesn't fit in. So if you don't fit in, you're not one of those people, let's say. Maybe even at school, everyone wants to fit in and be like everyone else. If you are, you fit in. If you don't, you don't fit in. And then I said that you can't just call someone out the blue. So out the blue without warning. As Boom Boom said, he wants 7 days notice. And then Boom Boom said it was quite difficult to decipher what he was looking at. So it was quite difficult in this sense to understand, to see what was happening. But then I cleared it up. So then I clarified everything for him. But remember, all of this vocabulary is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com/episode 177. I will see you all again next week, people. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.